Um, Hi. Today is October 2nd, 2017, and I haven't been on this thing in a really long time. And by this thing, I mean my video diary. I had this gusto going right at the beginning, and I clearly fell off the wagon. Um, so, a couple things. Self. You had promised, or not promised, but you had this inspiration and this idea to create a nonprofit for um, active people with MS who needed a space of support and a space of support that was positive, non judgmental, and understanding. Compassionate is another word that I would want to use with that. But I clearly was afraid of something, and the more I think about what took me so long to even get to this first um, charity yoga class, the MS Society, the first thing that I thought about was, well, it might just take off. The You Can Never Be Too Epic movement, the hashtag that I love to use, it might be a thing, and you might have to take responsibility for that. And for someone who freaks out over signing a year-long lease, thinking that, well, that's a year of my life that I've committed to something, knowing that if this movement, if this nonprofit, if this source of support really takes off, I'll have to be responsible for it. And what does that look like? So I can say to myself that was one of my fears around doing it. Another fear was just, how really am I going to go about doing this? And I have all the creative brain side in the world. It's the other side, the planning, the creating time and space and committing to that time and space and making a website and getting tax ID numbers. I mean, the first thing I did when I knew that I wanted to create a movement and have this nonprofit was I screen printed some shirts. I mean, I didn't have a place to sell them to, or a way to sell them, but I knew that 100% of profits were going to go to charity. And that's one thing that I'm big on, and I know that it can work, and I know that I can make it work, and I have to learn how to do that. And then it's more of, well, people are going to want to know why. Why this? Why you? Why? What makes you so different than any other charity that's happening right now? And with Hurricane Harvey and Puerto Rico and Mexico and Las Vegas, and I mean, what a time to roll this out. But I did read a horoscope, and lately it was, saying that something was going to happen in my life that really gave me kind of direction and gave me purpose and set me on my way to feeling like I'm actually moving forward. I feel like I'm doing well for myself. I could be doing better in terms of work and mental state, which is another reason why I think this first charity yoga class is so needed. But what did I bring to the table that was going to make people know that this is important for some people that you may know, and how common it is, because I didn't know that, and how much the more that I put the idea behind me that mentally I am fine. I'm probably not. And not in Well, and I hate to start giving it excuses, right? Because, you'll hear people say, well, it's not in like a bad, serious way. I mean, what does that even mean? Am I suicidal? No, I'm not. Am I lonely? Yeah. Do I feel like explaining myself all the time for why I'm tired or why I don't feel comfortable in my skin for various reasons? No. But I feel like with any autoimmune disease, they're also different. So because I, for the most part, don't look physically ill, I'm fine, which is not always the case, but it's one of those things where you definitely want to talk to someone who can say, legitimately, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I feel like I'm talking in circles, and I do this a lot, which is what I love about this thing. So that was my fear, was how it was going to be reserved. And the more I thought about that, or not reserved, received. The more I thought about that, I also came to the conclusion that, well, people don't know. And not everyone's going to look up what MS is and what it feels like to have MS. So why don't I start educating people, not just on the body, but on the body? Why don't I be that source of education for whoever chooses to come and move in my space? And so I think that's where I'm going to go with this first charity yoga class. It's entitled Falling and Flowing for MS. Falling and Flowing for MS. And I at first was like, oh God, that just sounds weird. But it was the first thing that came to my head. And so with this first class, I really just want to move first, let the space and the energy speak for itself. And then when the education starts coming out, as we're talking about the body, I think that's where my part will start to happen in this small start that I have for this big idea and this big goal that I've had for the past year and a half. October 15th, 10:45 a.m. at Awesome Tattoos here in Houston, Texas on Richmond. There will be a 1-hour yoga charity flow, and it is a $20 base donation class. Donation-based class. Desire donation, whatever you want to give. If you wanted to give a penny, if you wanted to give your time and your space, that'd be cool too. But this will be the platform to start telling people that, hey, I need help. I need some support, and so that probably means that there's other people out there that need help and support. And I also have to start saying things that are real thoughts that probably could never happen, but they could. And I have to, I have to get back on my video diary and what if you want to call it, if I wanted to say an online video blog, whatever this is. But I need to know that I can look back on something and say, that was October 2nd of 2017, and I was teaching 3 different jobs, 6 days a week, and life looked a little different, but that's what I looked like in 2017 on October 2nd. So tomorrow I will officially put out the first flyer for the event. I am scared shitless. I don't want to say too much. I want to say enough. I need to have someone start to understand A, what I'm feeling, B, what I'm trying to do, and see that I'm trying to be of service the best way I can with what I know. Yeah. Hashtag you can never be too